All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Bruce from the Epic Experiment. We're back with another deck tech this week. This week, we're bringing you Alesha, who laughs at fate. So this was the commander out of Foundations, and she was super cool. Now, I liked her because I had an Alesha who smiles at fate, who from original Cons block that I really enjoy playing and still have it together. And so when they reprinted a interesting version of Alesha, I was very keen to play with her, particularly since he sort of plays in the same sort of space. So let's have a look at her. Alesha, 1 a black and a red for a 2/2 legendary creature, human warrior with first strike. Whenever Alesha attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And then raid, at the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, return target creature card with your mana value with a mana value less than or equal to Alesha's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. So I like this because you can get a lot of value out of playing things through your graveyard. So this is sort of a creature-focused deck looking to extract value from your graveyard. So let's talk about how we're going to put things in our graveyard in the first place. All right, there's a bunch of different things that we're going to put in our graveyard. So we're going to use Viscera Seer. So Viscera Seer says single black mana, sacrifice a creature, scry 1. So when you start getting creatures on the battlefield, and you're going to see some of the targets down here that you can use with this that are going to get you good value, and then you can recur them with Alesha. We have Citrus Supplier, so single black for a 1/1 zombie. When Citrus Supplier enters the battlefield or dies, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. It's just going to stock your yard, start putting things in it. We have Yahenni, Undying Partisan, 2 and a black for a 2/2 legendary creature, Aetherborn Vampire. That is haste. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Yahenni, Undying Partisan. Sacrifice another creature, Yahenni gains indestructible until end of turn. Just makes it hard for your opponents to kill it, and you can then, attack with it and then sack things to it to make sure it survives combat. Chainer, Nightmare Adept. 2 a black and a red for a 3/2 legendary creature, human minion. Discard a card. You may cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn. Activate only once this turn. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste until your next turn. This is going to be great, so you can discard creatures from your hand and then to make use of them with Alesha to be able to get them back. Or you can then do all sorts of other silly things once the creatures are back in play. We've got a Sir Conrad, 3 black for a 5/4 legendary creature, human knight. Whenever another creature dies or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the graveyard, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Sir Conrad the Grim deals 1 damage to each opponent. 1 and a black, each player puts the top card of their graveyard into their library. So you can use this to mill yourself to put things in your graveyard so you can activate it. But this one is mostly here so that when you start pulling things out of your graveyard with Alesha, you can start incurring additional damage with your Sir Conrad. Woe Strider, another Sacculate, 2 and a black for a 3/2 creature horror. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 white goat creature token, sacrifice another creature, scry 1, and then escape 3 black, exile 4 other cards from your graveyard. You may replay this card, and then it gets 2 +1/+1 counters on it. So this is in the same vein as Viscera Seer. The fact is just a little more tricky and sticks around a lot more. Then we have Greater Gargadon. Greater Gargadon says 9 and a red for a 9/7 beast. That's suspend 10 and then a red. So you pay 1 red mana on your first turn, put 10 time counters on this. Sacrifice an artifact, creature, or land, remove a time counter from Greater Gargadon. Play this ability only if Greater Gargadon is suspended. So you're really looking to sacrifice your creatures to Greater Gargadon and take counters off of it to attack with. Overlord of the Baelmerk. 3 black for a 5/5 enchantment creature, Avatar Horror. And then pending 5 for 1 and a black. So it's kind of like suspend, but a little bit different. When Overlord of the Baelmerk enters the battlefield or attacks, mill 4 cards. Then you may return a non-avatar creature card or a planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This is just going to stock your graveyard again, putting creatures in it so you can activate them and get back value with Alesha. And we have Immersturm Predator, 2 black red for a 3/3 creature, Vampire Dragon. Flying, whenever Immersturm becomes tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on Immersturm. Sacrifice another creature, Immersturm Predator gains indestructible until end of turn, tap it. So again, it's sticky because it's indestructible. It's a sack outlet for your things. So let's see what are we going to get. Creatures we want to sack in response to it and get value from our things. So we have a Blood Tithe Harvester, black-red, 3/2. Vampire, when it enters the battlefield, makes a blood token. And then you can use the blood tokens to kill things. So you want to, if you get this in your graveyard, get it back, get some blood tokens, allows you to filter through your deck, perhaps use it as removal. Hostile Investigator, 3 and a black for a 4/3. Ogre, Rogue, Detective. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent discards a card. Whenever one or more players discard one or more cards, investigate. This ability triggers only once each turn. So this comes in and out of play. You can attack your opponent's hand, make them discard things. Or if you discard cards, you can then get the tokens back too. We have a Cryptghast, 3 and a black for a 2/2. This probably should be in my ramp package, but I like the Extort ability on it. So it's a 2/2 with Extort, and whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add additional black. So lots of mana, but the Extort is super cool too. Heralds of Torment, 3 black for a 3/3 creature. It's a enchantment demon. As bestow for 3 black. So you can bestow this as like an enchantment aura on this creature. Has flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. And has flying. So this is a super interesting card. It doesn't feel super potent, but when you think that you can go put it on Alesha as an enchantment, and then now you have a flying for 5/5 or 6/6 first striking creature, makes it really hard for your opponents to block it. Greedy Freebooter, single black for a 1/1 human pirate. When Greedy Freebooter dies, scry 1 and create a treasure token. So this is a perfect target with Alesha. You sack it to something, attack, get it back with Alesha, get the treasure token, get the scry. You can control the top of your deck. Karsi Revenant, 1 black for a 3/3 vampire, flying, death touch, lifelink. Renew, 3 and a black, exile this card from your graveyard. Put a flying counter, a death touch counter, and a lifelink counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. This is something I'm trying out. I'm unsure if this is going to be a great inclusion. I think it actually could be pretty fun. A Cursed Marauder, 1 and a black for a 2/1 zombie warrior. When this card enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a non-token creature. So, help you control the board, kill a bunch of things. Massacre Worm, 3 black, 6/5 Phyrexian Worm. When Massacre Worm enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. This is kind of gross, and it's a really good way to make sure that when things start dying, you get to kill them pretty good. Jax is the Troublemaker, 3 and a red, legendary creature, human warrior. Red, a tap. Discard a card. Create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control. It gains haste, and when this creature dies, draw a card. Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery, and then blitz for 1 and a red. Since you have things that are going to have pretty good value, like making a copy of a Massacre Worm by discarding another creature and attacking with that Massacre Worm and triggering Alesha to go get the creature you just threw back into play, kind of cute, kind of fun. Some interesting things to do there. Garna, Bloodfist of Keld, 1 black, red, 4/3 legendary creature, human berserker. Another creature you control dies, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, Garna, Bloodfist of Keld deals 1 damage to each opponent. So when you start attacking, things start dying. You're going to be able to draw cards and keep your hand nice and full. We're going to have Null Priest of Oblivion, 1 and a black for a 2/1 with Menace and Lifelink. It's a vampire cleric, but also has Kicker for 3 and a black. When Null Priest of Oblivion enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So let's imagine you have something that's big sitting in your yard. You could then proceed to kick Null Priest and get it back. Perforating Artist, 1 black, red for a 3/2 devil. Death touch has raid. At the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent of their choice or discards a card. This is going to allow you to attack their hand, attack them, and then they have to deal with it or they're going to take a bunch of damage. Hellspur Posse Brute, 2 red for a 2/4 lizard rogue. Other outlaws you control have haste. When Hellspur Posse boss enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 red mercenary creature tokens with tap target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So if this dies, you can recur it with Alesha because it's only got 2 power, and you can be able to bring it back pretty readily with that pretty easily. We have Grief, 2 black, 3/2 with Menace Elemental Incarnation. It has Menace, and then when Grief enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an online card from it, that player discards it. And then exile a black card from your hand. So you play this, and then immediately a sacrifice. So you get to strip your opponent of your hand, put it in your graveyard, and then when Alesha is big enough, you can get it back. Solemn Simulacrum, this guy's a 2/2 for 4. As a golem, when it enters the battlefield, you can go find a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped. When it dies, you get to go draw a card. So, super handy. Seer Slicer Goblin, 1 and a red for a Goblin Warrior. At the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, create a 1/1 red Goblin creature token. The Goblin token is exactly what you want to attack with. Judith, the Scourge Diva, 1 black red, 2/2. Other creatures you control have +1/+0. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Judith the Scourge Diva deals 1 damage to any target. Super useful. Fleshbag Marauder, 2 and a black for a 3/1. When Fleshbag Marauder enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. Good, just like a Cursed Marauder. And then we have Grey Merchant of Asphodel, 3 and a black. Zombie, when Grey Merchant of Asphodel enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. This card is gross, and if you can recur it with Alesha, it's a surefire way to end the game. All right. Let's talk about the ramp right now. How am I going to get all these things? Make sure I keep Alesha, cast it all. So this is because Alesha is reasonably inexpensive. Most of your creatures are fairly cheap too. You just need to make sure you hit your colors. So we have Troll of Khazad-dûm and Oliphant. Though these are great because they both land cycle, and so they land cycle for swamp cycling or mountain cycling, which means that anything that's land typed, so your Blood Crypt or your Raucous Theater or your Canyon Slough or all these cards. There's a lot of lands now that are now land types, so you can go get a non-basic land with these and put them in your hand so you can play it, which is super good. Infernal Plunge, since we're looking to put things in our graveyard anyway, it's a sack a creature to add triple red to your mana pool. That could be handy. It's something I'm trying out because I think the effect is good, but I like the idea of sacrificing things to put them in my graveyard. We've got a Sol Ring. We have an Arcane Signet. These go together like peas in a pod. These are pretty good. All right, just useful cards. They go in everything. These two are a little more pricey, though. We have a Mana Vault, then we've got a Mox Amber. So these two are significantly more potent, significantly more expensive. These are about $75 a piece. You don't need them in your deck, but I have a copy of them, and so they're going to be in this list. All right, that's all the ramp I'm running. So I'm having to get there on card draw and extracting advantage from my graveyard. So how am I going to do? What am I going to do for cards? Well, I've got a Jessica's Will. So I was kind of thinking the Infernal Plunge would be handy because it makes exactly 3 mana, which is exactly what you need for Jessica's Will, which is exactly what you want to go and do. So Jessica's Will, pretty useful card. We have Village Rites, single blacks, additional cost, sack a creature, draw 2 cards. I want to put my creatures in my yard so I can use Alesha's ability to get them back. So final Village Rites is not a drawback. Disturbing Mirth, same thing, black, red, and then you ask you to sacrifice an enchantment or a creature. So I'm sacrificing a creature typically. You get to draw, if you do, draw 2 cards. When you sacrifice Disturbing Mirth, manifest Dread. So at some point when if I can get this to be sacrificed, and I would love to, I get to then get another creature, which is great. High Society Hunter, 3 black for a 5/3 Vampire Noble with flying. Whenever this creature attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Whenever another non-token creature dies, draw a card. So the idea being I can sack my derpy thing, get it, and then trigger Alesha's ability to get it back. So I can then sort of chain that through. Unexpected Windfall. As you cast a spell, discard a card. Typically, I want to discard a creature if I can to stock my yard. Draw 2 cards. Create 2 treasure tokens. We've got a Greed. 300 black for an enchantment. Black, pay 2 life, draw a card. This card is far from being optimal, but I like the ability to do it repeatedly. This could be something like a Necropotence or something if you were looking to play at a much higher power level, but this is looking to be not playing with a Necropotence, so Greed's a good alternative. Grim Haruspex, 2 and a black for a 3/2 creature human wizard with morph, and whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card. Just a good card. Since our creatures are going to want to die anyway, away we go. Dire Sight, 2 and a black, sorcery, surveil 2, then draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. This used to be Read the Bones, and this is just an upgrade, because surveil 2 is better than Scry 2. And then Faithless Looting, single red, draw 2 cards, then discard 2. Again, discarding creature cards so that you can activate them, have access to them for Alesha. Okay, now let's talk about how we're protecting Alesha or whether use interesting effects. We have Boots of Speed and we have a Mask of Avacyn. Mask of Avacyn gives her hexproof. Boots of Speed grants her haste and +1/+0. So both of those are useful abilities. I like Boots of Speed. I think people don't talk about it enough. Anything that grants your creatures haste is super good. Gets her going right away. All right, then we have Geese's Shovel. Geese's favorite shovel. 1 in a black, legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has menace. Whenever equipped creature attacks, defending player sacrifices a creature. If they do, you create a walker token and then equip for 4. Okay, let's talk about some other value pieces that are in this list. All right, so we've got some cool tricks in this list. So I want to put things in my graveyard, right? So we have Unearth. Return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Many of my creatures meet that requirement. Super handy. We have Animate Dead. Let's say I have something big and swollen in my graveyard. Then I can go and use Animate Dead to go get it back. The Massacre Worm, for instance, or the Grief, or something I want to use. Sword of Truth and Justice. So this is 3 mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 as protection from white and blue. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control and then proliferate. Well, Alesha picks up counters all on her own, so I'm looking to proliferate her. So slapping it on and then getting protection from things like Swords to Plowshare and Path to Exile. Super useful abilities. We have Victimize. So 2 in a black, sorcery, choose 2 target creatures in your graveyard, sacrifice a creature. If you do, return the chosen cards to the battlefield tapped. Since I want to find a way to put things in my yard, Victimize is going to allowing me to get them back out of my yard. All right, we have Fable the Mirror Breaker. Fable of the Mirror Breaker says 2 in a red, create a 2/2 Goblin Shaman creature token that with whenever the creature attacks, create a treasure token. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2, you may discard up to 2 cards. If you do, draw that many cards. Looking to discard creature cards from your hand to stock your yard. And then exile this saga and return to the battlefield transformed under your control. It turns into a Kiki-Jiki effect where if you pay 1 and tap it, it makes a copy of something. We have Persist. 1 in a black. Return a target non-legendary creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter on it. Okay, just handy. We've got a Key to the City. This is going to grant your Alesha unblockability. So tap, discard a card. Up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. That's usually Alesha. And you're discarding creature cards, which you want them in your graveyard anyway. Whenever Key to the City becomes untapped, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card to replace the one you just pitched. All right, and then we've got some 2 spicy pieces at the end. We have Insurrection and Rise of the Dark Realms. These are like classic, like big mana finishers. If the game goes this long, somebody needs to win the game. These are just there to pretty much slam the door shut. I have never actually resolved either of these in an actual game, and I'm just playing them because I would like to. No idea if I'm ever going to get a chance to, but I want to try. Then let's talk about how we're not going to die. So we've got a Chaos Warp. Chaos Warp is just sort of utilitarian, red removal, catch-all. It's not great. It's never great, but it's never terrible. Come Back Wrong. This one's interesting. 2 in a black, sorcery. Destroy target creature. If a creature card is put into a graveyard this way, return it to the battlefield under your control. Sacrifice at the beginning of your next end step. I have this ostensibly to try and target my opponent's commanders because the way this is templated, you get to steal the commander out of their graveyard before they get a chance to put it back in their command zone, which could be kind of funny and kind of interesting, but we'll see. We have a Kolaghan's Command. This is just a really utilitarian spell. 1 black red, choose 2. The modes are return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Target player discards a card. Destroy target artifact. Kolaghan's Command deals 2 damage to any target. Super useful card. Fire Covenant. This is a goodie but an oldie. 1 red black. Fire Covenant deals X damage divided any way you choose among any number of target creatures, where X is equal to the amount of life you pay. Effects that prevent or redirect damage cannot be used to counter this loss of life. This is really there to clear somebody's board off. Let's say they got a bunch of derpy tokens or things in the way that are just making it hard for you to attack with Alesha profitably without being swarmed and attacked and blocked. So you can clear up a bunch of annoying things off the battlefield. Or if you need to get a couple of big things, you can get a bunch of stuff, but it costs you a lot of life. Interesting card. I like is one I like a lot. Undying Malice and Not Dead After All. Because we're sacrificing stuff as regularly as we are, these are going to be good ways to make sure that we get them back. Or more importantly, because we need to keep Alesha on the battlefield, it's good. We really need to make a point of trying to protect her if we can. We don't have a lot of, protection spells that grant hexproof and whatnot, but we can bring her back from the graveyard. Rakdos Charm. This is just really good versatility. A black and a red for instant. Exile all cards from target player's graveyard. Destroy target artifact or creature, or deals 1 damage to its. Each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. So the mode that it's used often on this is when your opponent's token deck, you can go use it to kill them dead. But sometimes you need it for the mode to destroy their graveyard, which is kind of handy. We have a Chainsaw. I love this card. 1 and a red for equipment. Chainsaw enters the battlefield does 3 damage to any one target creature. For up to 1 target creature. Whenever 1 or more creatures die, put a rev counter on Chainsaw. Equipped creature gets +X+O, where X is the number of rev counters on Chainsaw. Equipped for 3. If this gets 2 or 3 counters on it, you slap it on Alesha, and now you've got something with First Strike that's really hard for your opponents to block. So, super fun card in this build. I like it a lot. We have Terminate, just kills things dead. And then we've got Burn Down the House. 3 red for a sorcery, and you can choose 1. Burn Down the House deals 5 damage to each creature and each planeswalker, or create 3/1/1 red devil creature tokens with, when this creature dies, deals 1 damage to any target, they gain haste until end of turn. And then the mana base is 36 lands. Among the more expensive ones, you have your Bloodstained Mires, your Blood Crypts, your Luxury Suites, all that stuff. So, as a whole, this deck would be considered bracket 3. So, I believe the only game changers in this list are the Jessica's Will and the Mana Vault. But this deck I would say, is probably a cut above a bracket 2 with a Precon or Recon level deck. It doesn't have an automatic fast way of winning, though. So there's no auto combo in here. So I think it's a pretty sound bracket 3 deck that can, if you like to extract value and do have a fun grindy game, this is the sort of deck you want to play. All right. It is not cheap, mind you. Some of these cards are pricey. If I was looking to build this on a budget, I would sub out the Mana Vault. I'd sub out the Mox Amber. I'd sub out the Jessica's Will. Like, these are cool cards that I've got floating around in my collection, and you may not, and that's okay. You can build this deck for a much different budget line. Removing those cards to the deck is $175 taken right out of the budget, right there with 3 cards. You can do some pretty cool things at the $250 mark instead of the $450 mark. So don't be deterred by the price on it. If you want to see the list, it's down below in the notes. You can check it out. Please do. Also, like and subscribe. Every little bit helps. We're trying to get to 50 followers. We got to 44. We had two great people follow us this past week, so we're hoping we get a couple more to get us up to close to 50. But 50 followers would be amazing. That's our goal. Also, if you like what you hear, you can go and follow us on our weekly podcast. You catch out all our discussions around all sorts of cards. Check us out on all our socials as well. Instagram, X, BlueSky, whatever you like. We're all there. You can find us, and we'd love to hear from you guys. All right. Leave a comment down below. Thanks very much, everybody. This is Bruce from the Epic Experiment signing off. Catching you later.